Hello, everyone. Yep, I'm back. Kind of, make some mad about that, but as I said in my other videos, I don't care. But anyway, um, they're not gonna like the title either. But that goes to the beginning. Um, I'll mention it later. Also, um, the full moon or strawberry moon or whatever, the day that you were like nonstop, but it was quick though. That's over. And I put a video up. Yes, no, not yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I don't even know. But anyway, um, right after that, man, did I get a lot of calls. Thing is, you know, I was told that with these, numbers, they come up with a lot of places. Now, I don't need a marketing consultant or a baby doctor or what came up, um, where and police station. I don't need a computer consultant, an accountant, or anything. Any of you want from me or need from me. And if I need any of that, I know who to go to. And for, well, the authorities, my team and myself work with them constantly. So I don't need for you to make phone calls and, pretend to be whoever. If you have something to say, just say it. Or if you have something, same thing, means the same thing. Tell me something, just tell me. Or leave a message. Either way, I really don't care. Because it's the same BS. Now, I did say that most, and it happened last year, that most were caught, and I don't know what else happened to them. And there's only, some left. But they're getting new ones, to join with the, And then I have the new ones. I don't know if they're working with them or not. either way. You all have the same thing in mind. But anyway, for all the ones who are left, but not for long, and got new ones because of reasons why, and for the other new ones, like I said, who, may or may not be involved with the older ones and their new ones. Don't care. But I knew this for a while. All thought I didn't know. But now I'm speaking up. You all thought, and again, I'll explain it like I did in the other video, but briefly in this one. I know the difference. Okay? You thought since, I know, when you thought you were all, cloaking yourselves to hide. Well, so you thought. I knew. And I said that. But this one, oh my God. I knew right off the bat. But anyway, I have to give you this one. I mean, I have to say, it was good. I have to give you that. I'll give you credit for it. Oh God. With this one, you thought, because I mentioned this in other videos, that you guys, before, you tried to, attach yourselves to my energy and whatever else, but he's really never got my energy anyway. It was everyone's and your own, but I'm not going to explain all that. But you must have seen that, heard that video. But you thought that you know that myself, well, my family, which I'm not going to explain who I or what I mean by that, and myself, you all know that we are highly protected. Okay? That no one can get, none of you or whoever you try to send has no permission. But anyway, you thought that because you're all blocked from, I don't know, going into spirit and trying to see, monitor me, whatever, and send whoever that before you cloaked and did all that and whatever, but now you thought that you could change it, and then like you're in plain sight, whether it's in spirit or here, for the plain sight, by changing to pretend that you have access, changing like you're good. I mean, deep down you are, but you decided not to listen to that part, that side. But I mean, you thought by changing your energy, thinking that you were giving out good and positive, where who is protecting us, or God and Jesus. And not only them, that I wouldn't know the difference. The only reason why how you got in, through, is you were allowed, but not for, not for long. I knew you were here. I let it go. But now I'm speaking up. You really thought that I wouldn't know. Or the ones who were protecting. I don't care. He's monitored me, whatever. Whatever you did or tried, you tried doing things, with my health. And I mean, I'll mention it, but what you guys attempted, which is on your list, under attempted blank. And especially, you did that to see what I'm up to see what I'm doing. I mentioned this. Who I'm speaking to, or still trying to find out who my person is. Nothing's working, okay? And you're not going to find out anything. If I want anyone to know, I would say something. And again, I will give you that credit, thinking that, you know, oh wow, we did it. You know, I want to know, you all thought that, like, you really thought that I am that stupid, and you thought you would get away with it, or better yet, that you would start over. What you, did, because I can't keep saying what everything you did stays in last year, and it's not going to be carried into this year. But you guys are really determined, thinking that you can, do things over and over again. No. When I say keep at it and keep trying, is for something to make it better, not to destroy or ruin or whatever to someone. Know the difference. Plus, you thought by doing that, thinking that you could change, and you thought that you would get away with it, and you thought that I gave you permission to do it. And you thought, this one is a good one. You thought that I gave all of you permission to what? Test me? For all of you to see what I said, what I can do. No, I didn't give any of you any permission. And if you didn't see that one, I said it in, I think, 3 videos or 4, I don't know, that I got a signed, well, we did it, a signed, sealed, and delivered contract made by God and Jesus. And some others were in there. And remember the video that I said, that was just recent, I think, or the one before that, where I went somewhere and all of, well, who I noticed, all of a sudden started talking to me, whatever. Anyway, beside that point, that you thought you found me. Remember what I said, you didn't find me. That was done on purpose. And I also said, I was also there. To say, because I knew you guys, well, whoever was going to show up, that you got that kiss. which I won't explain. Go find the video. Again, you are, you ruined yourselves for messing with me and my family. And again, I'm not saying who I mean. I did mention before. But the action that was put out, part of the contract, will take place instantly. But you won't see when, and know it's coming. I've been saying that. And I'm not the only one. I've been saying you need to leave us alone and learn. And if you missed it in all the videos, I even said my both sides were out. So from what told you, you want to see, what I mentioned in the video. I think it was before this one, that what I was told in spirit, and I started laughing when I said I was told also down here. That's when I started laughing. That in spirit, I was told that I'm the most dangerous person. So, with your stupidity, you thought to mess with me, to see if I am. That's the thing. I never got that or understood that. If you know that you shouldn't mess with a person or ones, and you're told that they are the most dangerous person or whatever, or who they are, or whatever, how, why would someone risk their own life or ruin their life to go and mess with that person? And that's why I say your stupidity. You're not stupid. I didn't say that because to me that's mean. You never call someone stupid or, you know, whatever. You do stupid stuff. That's the difference. I know what it's like to be verbal and physical abused. I will never, I will never take revenge on anyone. Because if I did, oh, believe me, I wouldn't have planned all this out how it, how God said that it had to be. I would have taken care of you, all of you, right off the bat. But that was stupid of yous to continue to mess with me, to find out but remember, all of you are responsible for your own stupidity, not me. I have nothing to do with anything what yous do. Even though that you're drawing up lies and drama and whatever else, saying that I'm doing it to yous, or I did this, I did that, whatever. And all these newer ones, or whoever, that you keep on getting, you never tell them the truth. Okay, by telling the truth, you get further than lying. And telling the truth, you're not going to, I don't know, melt or go up in flames, because you're telling the truth. I mean, But also remember, what you try gets returned back to senders, automatically. That's been said I don't know how many times, not only by me. And I also said this, but did any of you ask yourselves, can all of you handle what's being returned? And what all of, not only your groups, I keep saying there's other ones too. You do know that each time you do something or try to, reattach yourselves to me, that when God cut all the cords, he tied all of yous together. So each time a new one comes, you do know, and I keep saying it, you get tied to each other. So what gets returned back, everything that's been done goes back to all. I mean, you know. So, like I said, it's not all about you where you think you're the only one that is trying to attack or do whatever. And it's not only to me, it's, whoever you want to bully or do whatever. You're not the only one who is doing it. But can all of you handle all that? I mean, you all thought that that you didn't care if, was I going to be able to handle it? Well, yeah, I was. I mean, I am. And I did. But you messed with the wrong one. Like all of you, others may not be able to handle. But you keep forgetting. It goes in one ear and out the other, that you don't care until it happens to you. Well, now it is. So instead of, you caring about yourself and trying to solve it and whatever else, you really don't care. So you change it, instead of to good, you change it to blame someone else. I mean, you blamed me for God only knows. So you started to attack me because you didn't want to handle it. So, best way is, let's give her everything, let her handle it, then blah, 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 whatever. Thinking that, thinking that karma, return to sender or senders don't exist, does it? But remember what I said if you saw that video, that whatever you didn't want or whatever, I'm not going down the list what you did. Well, not yet. Just push it all onto me. All the problems, most of them I fixed, solved it and whatever else. That's because you got me involved. So I had to do something. But now you do know whatever was pushed onto me from all of you, and the rituals and all that other, like, what was it, yesterday? You were trying to do something with my health? Probably you were going through it, so you pushed it onto me and did more. This way, you know, I get, what's that saying? Misery likes company or whatever. So you figured, oh, well, she's not going to go higher, level, whatever. Well, let's keep her, you know, with nothing or whatever. You do know that it's all coming back to you, that it never touched me, whatever you didn't want, or jealousy, whatever. It's all coming back. Plus, well, I'm not going to go there. But, okay, whatever. Whatever you think. But the thing is, I hope it's the right choice. And I hope you do let others know that karma, and if you do, whatever, that it's real. And making sure that, to let others know what will happen if you mess with us, with me, again. And you need to be convincing. This way you can save them. Do something good. And for all, of you, and the new ones, or whatever, unless you want to have more on the list, like the others, and that I'll give a few or a couple, on the list. DM. Emder, Murd, and attempt it, what you tried. That's all on the list. And whoever's involved, it's on your list too. I bet you, especially with the new ones. I mean, the older ones, I believe they realized. I bet you didn't know any of that, did you? Well, either way, don't matter. With everything, I have ones handling everything for me. And, as I said in the beginning, for those ones, about doing things with the moon and whatever, but you guys are like nonstop every day. Doesn't matter what day or whatever it is. You think that you're going to stop me from speaking to people or no, I choose to be quiet. But again, like I said in the other video, you just have to figure out which one, why I'm quiet. It can mean a lot of reasons. But for, the strawberry moon, I think it was. Well, that's all done, like I said in the beginning. But I know you think, trying every day, that it will make a difference, this time by bringing it in this year. But, you know how that did. But did it work last time? Huh? Did it? Well, if you don't know the answer, if it did, would I be speaking right now? If it did? So, how do you think it's going to work out now? If it didn't work last year, and I'm here speaking, and, I've been dealing with this since I was a baby, and really, I think the last, well, I'm not going to get into it, but, and I'm still here. And I know, you know how highly we are protected. So, how is it that you thought that you had permission to bring it into this year and thought that it was smart to start all over again, thinking that I wouldn't know? I mean, like I said in the beginning, I will give you a very, very small credit of thinking to change, to make you look or whatever, in spirit, and, to come honored, and, thinking that, oh, you're the good one. Oh, I'm just checking in, and, I'm helping out to protect, I got hired to do that. They all let you in because, they knew. But don't you think that you were being watched closely? But really, it's not going to be brought into this year or any year. And it's not going to work. And it's not going to, how you thought, by you doing all this. how it's going to turn out. Now remember, there's not many left. I told you I'm closing this case out. But as I said in my recent video, I don't have any reason to care. And if you want someone to care, then you better start caring for yourselves. Because I know that, it's returning more powerful than you felt before. And the new ones, well, I've been saying you better start doing your research. Especially what happened to the others. And why. The ones got used all to, to be involved. What amazes me is none, and I keep saying this, none of you. Now I said, well, I don't need to bring them in, but not one knows who I am. And I don't know any of you. And what I don't understand is that not one researched before you get into things, not thinking first, well, let's see, if I do this, let me check to see what happens. Or, or ask the person if anything, what was said or what, whatever, if it's true. How could anyone believe in lies? Without researching it first? That's how you get in trouble. Instead of having that attitude that, oh, that's just, super, no, not that one. Oh, people always say that, but I never seen anything happen and nothing will happen to me. Oh, I'll make sure I won't get caught or whatever. You never know. Especially when someone is spreading lies about somebody and then, you know, asking people find out about them or whatever, everything. Don't you think that seems a little odd or weird? You know, that you don't think that, well, maybe they want to know everything. This way they can go and sabotage it or be exactly like them. Well, no one can be a person, another person. Anyway, you know, it's like you need to think for yourselves instead of continuing and being tempted with lies. Get out there, not really out there, but do research. I always said when you are, you know, one of them was if you want to know who is your true friend or uh, say you need a lawyer or whoever, you research the question or whatever it may be before you ask them to see if they give you the right answer. And if they don't, then they're trying to, I don't know. It could mean a lot of things too, but you need to look into that and actually feel it. People can give you not the right answer because they really don't know it. So they're a good BSer and they need to, that they're afraid to say, well, I don't know the answer, but I'll help you find it. You know, so they'll BS it. So that's not really, that's different. You have to know about that too. Maybe later I'll tell you about that. But you need to know who your true friends are or whoever. And when you go, say to a lawyer or whoever, you need to research. Say you're going to, I don't know, buy a house or something, but you need a lawyer for something with it. You see what different things, what each one says, and if it's the same, then that's your answer. But when you go to the lawyer to make sure that that lawyer, you could trust them and legit, you ask that question and see what they say. This way you're not, with a lawyer who's just, trying to take you over. You get what I mean? I'm not going to explain. But you need to do research. I mean, I know what's being said and, what all of you are doing, but not one, not one researched it, what can happen to you, because I can guarantee you weren't told, or all of you ignored it. And not one found out if what was being said was true. No one. But again, I don't care. And the only help you will get from me now is if you come across my videos, to learn and respect the rules, which some, are all in the videos that I made. I mean, I haven't, said it in a while, but it is on my bio. You have to respect my channel, respect ones that are here. You don't bring harm to anybody. You don't judge anybody, because I don't judge anyone. And who comes to my channel, you don't judge each other. You help each other. But like I said, since last year, I've been saying the BS isn't carrying into this year. But you thought, I was joking. Ha 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 ha. That's funny. Everything I said last year and since the beginning, what was happening, right before, right before it happened, I said, and what is, if you tried for this year and years after, I mean, it started right after I said it. But now, you and everyone around the world will really start noticing. And I got all kinds of confirmations that it's hitting instantly. But all I can say, if you want, if you want to not listen, that's okay. Then keep trying with, what you're doing. As long as, but if you don't want, your family, as I said, that won't know you anymore, as I said, in the last video, that you won't exist. But if you don't want that to happen, then start working on yourself. And stop trying to mess with me. And make sure you let others know. What could happen. And also, you know, you have a lot of work to do to help yourself. And save yourself. But that's up to God. You know, what's going to happen. But like I said, you know, when I mentioned the Italian kiss, I explained it before that it's out there. You remember, you know, where you guys followed and found me, that I mentioned that the kiss was left. Well, that's not good once once it's out. I mean, I explained what the Italian kiss was, but, and like I said, I was there to leave the kiss, to let you know that the kiss was left. Plus, you should know what it is. And I explained it in the video when you guys thought you found me. And the ones who left it, well, other than I did, it was left by God and my dad and a few others. That, they're giving it to you. And what I just said, don't twist it. Yeah, God is my father, and I am his baby. But I do have another dad, that brought me up. Some of you know who he is. And probably everyone, the ones that, they knew who he is too. And some of them were afraid of my dad. And I also said, but you should be even more afraid now that he's in spirit, well, heaven. Well, all of you know how that happened, along with some others. Along with, the attempt that you tried on me. But I explained all that, the whole entire list in another video. So again, everyone around the world will know through all of you what, by what God does, you know, making all of you turn on each other, how you act around others, how, you know, you're starting with, starting to look like, you know what, you tried, you know, sending it towards my way. So you should know. And if all thanks, me by being silent about my person or anything because you think that you did it, no, it's not. It's not. And if I have to explain, then, well, oh well, I'm not going to explain it. I may be silent with a lot of things, but I won't. When I speak up, with messages and my videos, to say about whatever I said in this one, or, what, what God gives me. Stay there. But hold it. Huh. That was backwards. Huh. Oh well. That's funny. Sorry. Something. Never mind. But yeah. See, I was always told to be quiet. So, again, there's a lot of reasons why I'm quiet. But there is one thing that I won't be. Is when I speak up. Or I put messages up. Like this one. Like to everyone. I said this before. I cannot tell anyone what to do. Not even when I give out the messages, from God. But I can speak up to help others, to pay attention around, around you, and how you feel, when anyone is around you. How you are being treated, what to do, to get help, or how to get out of it. I put things up, how I got through everything. And you can too. Or, what feels right for you. Like your own way. It's like you need to know what works for somebody, it may not work for you. That doesn't mean for you to, scream and yell, blame people. They didn't exactly tell you to do it. Well, put it this way. I never tell people, oh, do it, do it, do it. You know how others are, You have to do it your way. What someone does may not work, like I said, or feel right with everyone. But you can, what I put up and how I got through something, or tell you, like, what God tells me to put out, to say, I said, I threw out ideas how to, what to do. If it doesn't work, you add stuff of your own and combine it to see if it works. And then, each person is different. And each person has their own, like I said, gift, their own talent, and their own purpose. What I said and what I did, it might need to be combined with your way too. Or, things don't work. It depends on what it is, or how it's done, or whatever. It doesn't work right away with some things. It takes time. And again, with some things, it has to be the right time. I give out, like I said, I gave stuff out, how to protect yourselves and to keep negativity away from you. That's in another video. And especially, you need to go to God and Jesus. And I keep saying, everyone needs to protect each other, bring peace, help each other. Get out there and make a difference. Help people to make a difference. Build up communities. We need to bring everyone and work together. And I keep saying, and I'm not the only one, men and women should be protecting each other, not going against each other. We should have each other's backs and speak up. And if have to, make reports, to authorities or whatever. And stand up, if someone is talking blank about someone, you stand up for that person if they're not there. They can't speak up for themselves because they're not there. The list goes on. I mentioned all this before. It's ridiculous that, especially women go against women. They try all kinds of stuff. Men do it too. They go against each other. But it's different. I know what's different. I'm not going to explain. But the thing is, women don't do what the guys do. They go. But we should be protecting each other. And we should protect, men. And men should be protecting the women. Especially friends and family. You get what I mean. But I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, because I already did that video. Anyway, it's time. And I keep saying it, and it's been time. We should have been where we should have been. But, to make it better. And put a stop to ones, who don't want it better. And want only to bring negativity, BS, drama, and etc. But now we are making a lot of progress. It's being made. So we need to keep working together to continue to do that. Because it's time that we start making it better. And protecting each other. If you want to hear about that one, go find the video. Because like I said, I was told there is, a lot of progress being made. And we continue to make it better, more better, then everyone can really notice. And don't ever give up thinking because you're not noticing yet. You know, it could be either about yourself. You know, if you're doing things to make yourself better, you're not noticing it, don't give up. If you're not noticing what I said about the progress or around you, that you think that it's not happening, it is. You know, because you didn't notice yet, that doesn't mean that it's not happening, you know, for the better. You need to, you know, stop for a minute, you know, breathe, and remember how it was, you know, what you went through and everything. But then you change, you know, you started something different or whatever. Remember when you did that, how it changed for the good. Remember what happened, you know, that you never noticed. If you remember and you start remembering when you started doing things differently, or you let go of somebody or whatever around you to make yourself better, start remembering the little things. Like you started doing that, and say, I don't know, you got something new or something like that, you know, just out of the blue or something like that. It's the little things. And to remember, you see, you get little things first. Sometimes big. You know, it depends. But the ones who need a little bit more help or whatever to help you to focus, it's the little things that you're missing. It's to help you to pay attention better. And then once you do that, you'll start seeing that you are making progress and you are making a difference that you don't see yet. And others may. And because you didn't notice it yet and no one's saying anything, can mean a lot of reasons too. You know, maybe they, you know, are still trying to say, wait a minute, is something different? They're not sure. But then you have the ones who won't tell you, but they're scared out of their wits because they're like, you'll understand all that once you start realizing. But I also explained in the video about all that, about the little things. And don't let anyone tell you that you're not making a difference. You are. And I will keep on saying it. and how proud I am of everyone around the world who are making a difference and ones who are trying. You know, you think that you're trying, but technically you are already making a difference. And don't. When you know something is off, don't let anyone tell you not to speak up. You speak up. Don't ever let anyone put that fear in you. Because how do you think, why they do that? Just like I said, they're afraid to tell you, or they don't want to tell you because, they might be up to something. You don't know. But why they do that? And it could be ones, like I said, who want to get away with whatever, and ones who are afraid and think someone else will speak up. And that one, you should never do. You need to speak up. You never think, oh, well, someone else will do it. And I mentioned that before. Because if you don't, and you think someone else is, well, most of the time, no one is. And whatever is going on, somebody or whatever can happen. Something can happen. You never know. And I explained in my other videos, I never spoke up before, like I said. As that thing said, I said it, later on, in my videos, I mentioned that I heard my dad, well, and God, saying, no one's going to put my baby in a corner. It was like that. I always got told, nope, be quiet. But I learned now, and when I did speak up, I did help a lot of ones. And so can you. And when you speak up, and it depends, like I said, if you have to go to the authorities or go to that person, who they're speaking about or whatever is happening. It doesn't have to be, where everyone knows what you're going to do. It can be quiet. You can go to the authorities and, saying you don't want anyone to know that you're making a report or whatever. You get what I mean. There's always a way how you do things, and there's always a solution to everything. And also, only you can make a day good, or your day better. And when you find out that you can, help others to do the same. I did a video about all that, how different ways you could do that. Cheer someone up, say hello, be like a kid again, either make, and I said this before, the hopscotch, make it and then do it and see how many does it to make their day. And every little thing goes a long way. And it makes a difference. And as I said in other videos, we should also be breaking bread with each other. That means spreading love and getting ones involved, to join together, making it better. And I gave the list in other videos. And when I said, I told you, sorry, I was trying to read something. I was told to bring it up. That needs to be done. What I mentioned, and I mentioned in the other videos about the list. But other than, that, and with the fun stuff that I mentioned, cheering people up and making their day better. And then with the breaking bread together, that it don't only mean when families get together and have dinners, which means, anyway, bringing love to the table. So, you could do it with everyone, but, in different ways. To reach around the world. And that's one of the things that is making progress. Because, the saying is, time to break bread together when dinners, families get together at the table, meaning let's let's bring love to the table. Well, we're bringing love and peace out to the world. But remember, we are a team empire. And yeah, I shortened it. The name is on the my bio. So I just say Team Empire. So remember, don't let anyone stop you. What you put your mind to, you keep trying it and, work at it. You'll know, if it needs to be changed or, a little bit, or something needs to be added for whatever, for it to work. And that's for you to make yourself better. But remember, only you know yourself. Remember that. Keep believing, having faith in what's right, and in God, Jesus, ancestors, and all of heaven. They are always with us, and they never gave up on us. So, don't give up on yourself or them. Learn how to see, as I said before, those signs in many different ways that they are giving us, to help guide us and give you the answers to all the questions you ask. To let you know that they hear us. They see us. So they hear and see everything. And it will help you to start paying attention. Like if they want to let you know that they're always around you, ask them. Say, can you let me know? Give me a sign or whatever. Whether it's in your home or outside. And, in your head or whatever, you ask, say a bird flies, and it's the only one. So when you see that only bird that just, comes up, you see it, and it's the only one around, wherever you go, that means that whoever you asked is with you. That's how you can tell. But you need to, work in how you and whoever does that. Because everyone's different, how they get signs and what they get. There's others who give out messages and etc. We each have our own messages. We give out the same messages, then that means that it's really, really important, that it needs to get out. But you also need to know the difference too. You know who the good ones are and who speaks the truth. But I'm not getting into that. There's a video out on that one too. And most that are here, I know you guys, watch or whatever. With a few that I do. And that's good because, I know who tells the truth. Well, God told me. But anyway, this is way too long. I still have a lot to do. And I don't know when this is going up. I have to send it to who puts it up. And everyone, like I said, have a great day, morning, or whatever time it is. Sending coffee, tea, whatever you drink to start your day. And again, thank you, all of you, for visiting, viewing or whatever, subscribing, and listening. And I'm proud of all of you. Keep up the great work. And again, thank you for being here and listening. I hope this helps. And again, whoever gets mad, well, okay. What else is new? I always get somebody mad, so, nothing new. But if you actually listen, there's some stuff in there that may help. But anyway, again, I have a lot to do. And again, thank you. I don't know how many times and I'll keep on saying thank you to all of you and how proud I am of all of you. But now, I'll let you go. Ciao. Okay, why isn't this going off?